Hey everyone, I'm Joe and today I'm going to be doing a book review of New York 2140 written by Kim Stanley Robinson. This was published in 2017 and as of the moment that I am filming this review, this has been nominated and is on the shortlist for the 2018 Hugo Award. Whether it will win or not, I do not know, but I do think it's got a pretty good chance because Kim Stanley Robinson has wrote a book with some extremely interesting ideas and with his usual flair and interesting ideas, so it's got a good chance, I personally think. Anyway, enough about that, now on to the actual review proper. So first of all, a synopsis and a little bit of background for the world, and that is quite simply that this book is set, unsurprisingly, in the year 2140. Actually it is set slightly before then, at the end of 2139, although the main section of the book is indeed in 2140. This is a world where global warming has indeed happened and had a more of a direct impact on the world, and indeed that is the way the world is going at the moment. And the sea levels have, unsurprisingly, as we frankly know at the moment, have risen. And this has had a drastic and fundamental shift in both the landmass of the world, because there is now more ocean, less actual land to build and grow on, and a obviously political and financial one, because now former cities, as a lot of major cities in the world were coastal, they have now had to change in a very significant and fundamental way, and now other cities have rose up. The cities that remain have had to drastically alter themselves and adapt to this new world, this new world order, and that's some interesting ideas that Robinson does rather well in this. This book is set obviously around New York, in particular around Manhattan and these sort of movie type section of New York with all the large super high rise skyscrapers and such, because that area has obviously been affected by the rising sea levels, same as the rest of the world. But because of the skyscrapers, a lot of the buildings are still fully usable. So it is based around the communities in each of these skyscrapers, and one skyscraper in particular where you have an eclectic and mixed selection of characters who are in various different parts as far as work goes. There is a political person, there's some very practical sort of engineering people living there, there are some just technical people in other areas, just a very mixed group. And the book is written and seen through their eyes. It's their adventures and their sort of way of coping with this world, because you see the world through their eyes, and their eyes are quite interesting to see out of, because they've got their own day-to-day issues, but they're also looking at the future as a greater whole, same as obviously we do as well. So it's an interesting mix. I'm not going to say too much more about the plot, because individually the characters all have their own small plot line. They also have the greater plot line, and they turn into something much greater than the sum of their parts, as these things often do. The focus of the book is on 4 different areas, and those are environmental, economic, sociological and political. Now, the environmental is a fairly obvious one, because of course sea levels have risen. The land that various animals were living on is no longer a viable option, so animals that were already in trouble are now virtually gone extinct. In some cases they have gone extinct. There are lots of obviously political upheaval to go along with that, and indeed lots of people who were still trying to save the animals are now trying to save them even more, because there's less land for them to go on, and obviously people have got less land, so this is more of a problem for land than ever before. Obviously the land that is left is all the higher land, which obviously before was not really buildable, so we're having to build on areas that we didn't really think of as particularly viable, and now we're having to just say, well, it doesn't matter, we have to just adapt and use what land we've got to do what we can with and survive as a species. And what with the environmental, obviously we've got to grow food and things, because we still got a very large population, because this is not a Hollywood disaster. This didn't happen in overnight at the course of the book or something like some sort of giant tsunami hitting New York. This is a gradual change, and this has taken a gradual effect which people have had to adapt for, and the sociological effects of this are obviously different, because people are now living in different places, in different ways, and the way we interact is different, because of course people are living in the taller buildings now, so you have to sort of travel in different ways. You no longer have the underground, for instance. You travel on boats around New York, I think, which is a rather curious idea. And other cities around the world, to greater and lesser degrees, have been affected as well, and they've had to completely adapt or die as the situation demands, because not all cities can cope with these such radical changes. And this has led to some very interesting financial situations, and indeed this book looks into the financial situation of the world if this were to happen. Indeed, probably will happen if we're not going to do something about it sort of right here and now. Because how do you cope when every major city on the world, well, not every major city, but many of them, which are often coastal cities, are no longer able to survive the way they used to, because obviously they've now got higher sea levels, and therefore they are flooded out. In some cases they are completely gone beneath the water. In some cases, like New York, they've managed to survive. So this has made some financial centres of the world change. Some of them haven't, and some of them have had to completely gone, and other major hubs of the world has now grown up in this world, which would happen logically. I mean, Robinson doesn't write some sort of fantastical situation here. He's written a lot of extreme what-if questions, and whilst they are indeed extreme, they're not so extreme, they're not unbelievable, because you could imagine a lot of these situations happening. I mean, yes, obviously this just happens to be in one very particular place, and they're all affecting this one particular set of characters. Convenient, maybe, but obviously the book wouldn't work if you tried to do it on too many sets of characters. It needs a focus, and this one skyscraper with its people living in it is the focus, and the lens that you look at this new world order from. Indeed, that's what it's based on. This is a new world order. Everybody in this world now has to live in a different way on a very fundamental level, because the location that you live in, your job that you have, because of course now water and reclaiming buildings and trying to protect against any further sea rises are now a significant effect. And it just creates a really interesting dynamic, which is one of the major things about this book. The way everything interacts, and the way the characters interact with the environment, the way the environment is just there, but you get to feel it's almost like a character in a way the environment is in this book, which is unusual. Although Robinson is good at making the inanimate seem to have a life, to have a life force of its own, and he does it rather well with this, because I don't know, just something about his writing style which I can't put into words. You basically have to read it for yourself. He does extremely well, and it's one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of Stanley Robinson. And I think this book is well worth a read if you want to read about a book with some intelligent ideas and some extreme what-if scenarios, but sensible ones. They're not out of the realm of possibility. You could imagine them happening. The characters are interesting. Yes, they are all starting out as a bit of a stereotype, but yeah, that's only a minor thing, and that's only to sort of get you introduced to the world. They do become more than these obvious stereotypes, and they're not that obvious actually. They're not like the stereotypical ones too badly actually, so there is variation there as well. The world is developed obviously extremely well, and the focus on the greater issues is of course the main aspect of this book, and Robinson does know how to do that extremely well, because frankly at this point he's had a lot of experience with writing about big worlds and big ideas, and he does it well. All combined, I really enjoyed this book a lot, as you could probably guess. I would highly recommend this to anybody looking for an interesting science fiction book with some big ideas and some really interesting and curious ways of looking at a future world affected by things that are happening right now. And that's pretty much it for this review. So if you've read this book or you would like to, then please leave me a comment. If you'd like to talk about anything else related to the issues from this book, global warming or anything else, then please leave a comment. I'm no expert on any of these things by any means. I only know what I've read frankly as well. And with that said, that is it for this review. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.